You're about to uncover a secret that shapes every part of your life, one that explains why the world economy feels rigged. The cost of living rises, wages lag behind, and most people sense something is wrong, but can't put their finger on it. This secret is the engine of inequality, quietly transferring wealth upward for over a century. It's not a flaw, it's the system itself, designed to benefit a select few. Welcome to the biggest scam in the history of mankind, revealed in 7 steps. The story of modern money doesn't start with coins or cash. It begins with something far less tangible: government-issued bonds. These bonds are, at their core, nothing more than glorified I.O.U.s, official promises written on paper, stamped with the authority of a nation. They look impressive, with ornate designs and signatures, but their true power lies in what they represent. A government's pledge to repay borrowed money in the future, with interest. Instead of simply printing new money whenever they need it, governments choose a more subtle approach. They borrow money by selling these bonds to a wide range of buyers: banks, large corporations, investment funds, and even foreign governments. Each bond sold is a promise to pay back the amount borrowed, plus a little extra, at a later date. This process creates a web of obligations that stretches across the globe, connecting governments to the world's financial institutions. Unlike the money of the past, which was backed by physical gold or silver, today's government bonds are supported by nothing more than trust. Trust in the government's ability and willingness to pay its debts. There's no vault of gold sitting behind these promises, just the faith of investors and the reputation of the issuing country. Every time a government needs more money, whether to build roads, fund schools, or wage wars, it issues more bonds. The process is almost mechanical: print, sign, sell, repeat. Over time, these bonds accumulate, becoming a mountain of debt that underpins the entire financial system. The more bonds a government issues, the more debt it takes on. This debt doesn't just sit idle. It's traded, bought and sold on financial markets every day. In fact, these bonds are so important that they're often considered the safest investment in the world, forming the bedrock of global finance. Here's the twist: what most people see as government debt, the financial world sees as an asset. Banks and investors treat these I.O.U.s as valuable property, using them as collateral for loans or as reserves to back up their own financial activities. The more debt the government creates, the more money there is for banks and investors to play with, fueling a cycle of borrowing and lending that keeps the economy spinning. But unlike a household mortgage, which eventually gets paid off, national debt is rarely settled in full. Instead, it's rolled over, refinanced, and expanded, becoming the raw material for the next round of borrowing. This endless cycle is what keeps the wheels of modern finance turning. So, in the first step of this global financial game, governments create I.O.U.s out of thin air, and the world accepts them as money. It's a system built on promises, trust, and a little bit of sleight of hand, and it's only the beginning of the world's biggest financial illusion. Here's where the magic happens. Banks take those government I.O.U.s, which are really just promises to pay in the future, and use them as the foundation for something extraordinary. These I.O.U.s, often in the form of government bonds, are treated as valuable assets by the banks, even though they're essentially just pieces of paper backed by the government's word. The process is both simple and mind-boggling. Banks hand over these bonds to the central bank, and in return, they receive something far more powerful: brand new currency. This new money isn't pulled from a vault or taken from someone else's savings. Instead, it's created out of thin air, conjured up with a few keystrokes or the flick of a pen. The central bank doesn't need to print physical bills for most of this process. Instead, it simply increases the numbers in the government's account, making digital money appear as if by magic. It's a system built on trust, but also on illusion. The central bank accepts these bonds as if they were real, tangible assets, and in exchange, it credits the government's account with digital money. This money can then be spent immediately on public projects, salaries, or anything else the government needs. The entire process happens behind closed doors, invisible to the average person, but it has massive consequences for the economy. No real value is created in this transaction, just numbers on a screen. instantly available for spending. It's a digital sleight of hand, where the appearance of wealth is created without any new goods or services being produced. The numbers grow, but the underlying reality remains unchanged. Most of the money in circulation today starts this way, not from people working hard, saving or building businesses, but from accounting tricks and clever financial engineering. The vast majority of the money we use every day is born from this process, not from the sweat of labor or the creation of real value. Banks absolutely love this system because it gives them enormous power and profit. By controlling the flow of new money, they decide who gets loans, who can buy homes, and who can start businesses. Every time they create new money, they collect interest and fees, making the system work in their favor. The more debt that's created, the more profit banks make. It's a self-reinforcing cycle. As more people and governments borrow, more money is created, and more interest flows to the banks. This cycle keeps the system running, but it also means that debt is always growing, and the banks are always at the center of the action. This invisible process powers everything from the mortgage on your home, to the credit card in your wallet, to the loans that help businesses expand. Every time you take out a loan or swipe your card, you're participating in this grand illusion, using money that was created from nothing, backed only by promises and trust. And remember, this is only the second step in what many call the biggest scam ever, a system that shapes our world, yet remains hidden in plain sight, quietly influencing every aspect of our lives. With new money in hand, the government spends on salaries, programs, and projects. This spending injects money into the economy, creating the illusion of prosperity. But it's not real wealth, it's just new claims on the same goods and services. As more money chases the same things, prices rise. Inflation quietly erodes your purchasing power. Those closest to the new money benefit first. By the time it reaches you, its value has already dropped. The cycle never ends. New crises, new spending, more debt, more inflation. The illusion continues, but the real trick is still to come. Now, banks work their own magic, fractional reserve banking. This is a system that lies at the very heart of our modern financial world, yet most people have only a vague idea of how it actually works. When you deposit your money in a bank, you might imagine it sits safely in a vault, waiting for you to withdraw it. But in reality, only a small fraction of your deposit is kept in reserve. The rest is loaned out to other people and businesses, setting off a chain reaction that multiplies the original deposit many times over. Through this process, banks lend out far more than they actually have on hand, multiplying every deposit into many times its original value. For every dollar you deposit, the bank is allowed to lend out the majority of it, keeping only a small percentage as a reserve. This means that your single deposit can become the foundation for a whole series of new loans, each one creating new money that didn't exist before. Each loan issued by the bank doesn't just move existing money around, it actually creates new money out of thin air. This fuels an explosion of credit and debt throughout the economy. People use this borrowed money to buy homes, start businesses, or simply spend on everyday needs, and the cycle continues as those funds are deposited and relent again and again. The entire system is built on trust and confidence. It only works if people keep borrowing and banks keep lending. As long as everyone believes their money is safe and available, the cycle continues smoothly. But if too many people try to withdraw their money at once, or if borrowers can't repay their loans, the system can quickly unravel. When confidence falters, the whole structure can collapse, leaving the public to bear the losses. Financial crises often begin with a loss of faith in the system, leading to panic, bank runs, and economic turmoil. Ordinary people who had no say in the risks taken are often left to pick up the pieces. Profits are private, but risks are socialized. While banks and their executives enjoy the rewards during good times, the costs of failure are often passed on to taxpayers and the broader public. This imbalance is a defining feature of the modern banking system. This is how banks turn a small seed of debt into a vast forest of currency, eroding the value of your money. As more and more money is created through lending, the purchasing power of each dollar declines, making it harder for ordinary people to keep up. The price is paid by everyone, as the illusion of wealth grows ever more fragile. In the end, the system's complexity hides a simple truth. The more money is created from debt, the more vulnerable our financial lives become. Understanding this process is the first step toward protecting yourself in a world where the numbers can change overnight. Now comes the part everyone feels. Taxes. The government takes a portion of your income, not just for services, but to pay interest on its ever-growing debt. The more it borrows, the more it must tax, just to keep up with interest payments. Much of your tax dollars go straight to servicing debt created out of thin air. The system extracts wealth from the many and funnels it to the few. Those with resources avoid the worst. The average worker pays the most. The result? A society where most work harder just to stay afloat, while a tiny elite reaps the rewards. Occasionally, politicians argue over the debt ceiling, a supposed cap on government borrowing. It's political theater. Every time the ceiling is reached, it's simply raised. The limit is an illusion, giving the public false confidence that someone is in control. In reality, the system requires endless borrowing, and the ceiling exists only to be broken. Each increase signals there are no real constraints. Just more debt, more money creation, more inequality. While the public debates numbers, the machinery keeps transferring wealth upward. Only by seeing through this illusion can we understand the true nature of the scam. Finally, who profits? The secret owners of central banks and financial institutions. Most think central banks are government agencies, but they're private, owned by a select few. These insiders profit from every step, collecting interest and fees as the money supply expands. Their power grows with every new dollar created, shaping policies to keep the cycle spinning. A tiny elite controls money creation, quietly extracting value from millions. Their interests are protected by politicians and media, keeping the truth hidden. But once you see it, you can never unsee it, and you can start to protect yourself. Understanding this secret changes everything. It empowers you to make better choices for your future. The system only works when people are kept in the dark. Knowledge is the first step to change. As more people wake up, the possibility for real change grows. This is the biggest hidden secret of money. Now you know the truth. The power is in your hands. Share this knowledge, and together we can build a better future.